Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about The Last Olympian, the fifth and final book of the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series by Rick Riordan. This book was just so good. I could not put it down. There's not much I can say without spoiling you, so if you have not read the book, bye. Come back after you've read the book. The book picks up a year after Percy's 15th birthday, and 10 pages in you get thrown right into the action. You already have a battle with Kronos. They planned everything to blow up a ship before he can even make it to New York. I have to say, I was in denial about Beckendorf's death until Nico confirmed it. I was so hoping that there was some way he had survived and he would just pop out of nowhere midway through the war and just save the day, but that sadly didn't happen. And then after Percy escapes from the explosion, he wakes up in Poseidon's palace. And it's just so weird. These mermen, I swear, if these had been in The Little Mermaid, I would have had nightmares for years. Percy gets back to Camp Half-Blood and we finally get to hear the great prophecy. And this is a very serious moment. A half-blood of the eldest dogs. Percy? That's gods, not dogs. Oh, right. And can I just ask why they're bothering with cabin inspections during a war? Like, that's not the most important thing at the moment. Nico turns up at camp, and Percy finally agrees to his plans that he was telling him about in the end of Battle of the Labyrinth. And once he agrees, they go to see May Castellan. I was so heartbroken for May, and I cried quite a few times. I felt so bad for her. And I felt bad for Luke too. So then after this very emotional trip, in which case both boys are freaking out and all I can do is cry, they go to the underworld. Stupid Nico. I understand Nico wanted more information about his past, but why turn on Percy? I mean, really, he didn't know that Hades was going to throw him in prison, but still, it's Hades. You can't trust him. And also in the palace, we get to meet Demeter and Persephone. And I hate Demeter from the way she's talking. She's right up there with Hera for me. And then Persephone, I don't really have an opinion of Persephone. She seemed more neutral to everything. And then after Nico somewhat redeems himself by rescuing Percy from the dungeons, which he got him thrown into in the first place, we go to the river Styx. I think it was so funny how Percy was planning on walking into the river like a real hero, and then he face plants. I just found it so funny, and then I thought it was so sweet how Annabeth was the thing that keeps him tethered to the mortal world. And then after he takes a dip in the river Styx, he defeats Hades and his army of skeletal warriors. After that, he leaves Nico in the underworld to convince his father to help with the war. Yeah, good luck. And him and Miss O'Leary go back to begin the war, which a lot of campers turn up, about 40 plus campers, except the Ares cabin. Clarice is still mad about the stupid argument she had with the Apollo cabin about the flying chariot, and they even gave her the flying chariot before they left for the war, and she still wouldn't fight. She said it was too late. Ugh, Clarice. She did redeem herself in the end by showing up after Selena Beauregard got poisoned fighting that dragon. I mean, she really redeemed herself. I just want to put out there that I knew Selena Beauregard was the spy all along because I have read these books, and if you watch the movies, that's kind of spoiled in the second one. So I knew she was a member of Kronos' army at one point, or she was the spy. And it was hard for me not to like her even though I knew she was the spy, because after Beckendorf died, I knew that she regretted it, so I don't know. I'm glad she died though, so her and Beckendorf can be together. And there's just something I want to point out here. Hermes was telling Percy that they were making progress in stopping Typhoon. Progress? He nearly destroyed St. Louis. Yes, but he destroyed only half of Kentucky. He's slowing down, losing power. Now, as a citizen of the state of Kentucky, I find that worrisome. I don't find it a relief at all. It's like, to you, it's only half of Kentucky. But you don't live in that half of Kentucky. Is it the half I live in? I sure as hell hope not. Back to the war. Thalia and the hunters arrive, and I've never been so happy to see Thalia in my life. And after they arrive and everyone has their bridges they're assigned to, Percy goes and pisses off a couple of river gods. And as he's fighting these river gods, he puts up a water barrier. A big chunk of glass actually comes through his water barrier and hits him in the chest and just shatters. Son of Poseidon took a dip in the river Styx. Yep. Well, that's just perfect. How do we kill him now? We could electrocute him if I could just find some jumper cables. That was just one of the funniest points in the book. I love Rick Riordan's humor. Then we hear about Maria D'Angelo's and the Oracle's story, and I was so pissed off at both Zeus and Hades in this moment. Zeus destroys the hotel just to kill Bianca and Nico, and he ends up killing who knows how many mortals. In retaliation, Hades curses the Oracle to never be able to move on. So that explains why the Oracle is a mummy, is because her spirit can't move on, so she's the last Oracle. And oh my god, it's like both of you are idiots. The Oracle didn't do nothing. It's not her fault she could see that happening in the future. And Hades' children existed before you guys made the oath, so they shouldn't have to pay for this. Then we have Percy's fight with Hyperon, the Titan. I think that's his name. And during this fight, Percy's walking on water and creating hurricanes. And it's like, how many powers can one demigod have? Then we have Rachel showing up in the helicopter, and Annabeth knows how to drive a helicopter? It's like, since when did that happen? We find out that she was just guessworking it. It doesn't make it any less awesome. But Rachel's come to give Percy a message that he's not the hero. And I'm thinking, does this have to do with the Heroes of Olympus series or something else that's going to come up much later? But no, it does have to do with this prophecy, which threw me completely off guard. So the prophecy is about Percy and Luke. Then Percy gets another brilliant plan. It's like, his plans are the most dangerous, stupid plans that could be ever thought up. But everybody goes along with them anyways, and everything turns out fine. But Percy has to have Poseidon for this plan. So what does he do to get his attention? He sits on his throne. Who dares? The voice stopped abruptly. The anger retreated, which was a good thing because just those two words had almost blasted my mind to shreds. Percy? What exactly are you doing on my throne? I'm sorry, Father. I needed to get your attention. This was a very dangerous thing to do, even for you. If I hadn't looked before I blasted, you would now be a puddle of seawater. If I hadn't looked before I blasted, you would have been a puddle of seawater. I just love this little interaction between the two of them. It was just so freaking funny. But he gives Poseidon his plan, and right as Typhoon makes it to New York, Poseidon comes out of nowhere with his Cyclops warriors, Tyson leading the way with his battle cry of peanut butter. Is Tyson okay? He's fine, doing much better than I expected, though peanut butter is a strange battle cry. I love Tyson so much. It did surprise me though that he ended up being 30 foot tall when he was helping with Typhoon. What? And then he could like shrink down back to his normal size. Not sure how that all works. And then the battle starts again. This battle takes place over a period of like 3 or 4 days, and it keeps stopping and starting. Nico shows up to fight with Hades, Demeter, and Persephone. And I am so glad that Nico could convince his father to join the battle, because it was really getting worrisome there for a little while. But after they show up, Kronos uses his power to block the Empire State Building, and all the mortals wake up, including Sally and Paul, and they were kicking ass. Paul's was slashing with one of the heroes' swords, and Percy's mom has a shotgun, and she's never freaking used the shotgun. When did you learn to use a shotgun? About 2 seconds ago. It's like, go Percy's mom. Annabeth realizes that the prophecy was talking about Luke's blade, and I don't understand how her knife was a cursed blade just because Luke broke his promise, but we're going with it. So Luke ends up taking his own life, and at this point we don't know what happened to Kronos. He's not dead because you can't kill a Titan. And I felt really, really sorry for Luke after getting all those meetings with May Castellan and the flashbacks, and it was hard not to feel sorry for him. I mean, he made a lot of wrong choices, but Luke redeems himself in the end. Then they get their rewards from the gods, and I just love it how Grover gets his recognition in the end for everything he's done, and then Annabeth gets to rebuild Olympus. I hope in Heroes of Olympus we get to see the rebuilding she's done, because I cannot wait to find out what it looks like. I just love how Percy turned down immortality, more for Annabeth's sake than for anything. And then what he wants is for all the minor gods in Hades to have seats on Olympus, and to also have their own cabins at Camp Half-Blood. And then he wants all the demigods to be claimed by their immortal parents by the age of 13. So he's even given them an age line. Very smart thinking. And he also wants the titans that didn't do anything wrong, like Calypso, to be pardoned. And he also made them swear on the river Styx that they would do this. Another good idea. Then we get to the end where Rachel becomes the Oracle. And if you didn't guess that this was going to happen at this point in the book, you missed a lot of hints. It was hinting at any time Rachel was mentioned. And then right after Rachel becomes the new Oracle, she gives the next great prophecy, which I already know is going to take place in the Heroes of Olympus. So I cannot wait to start that book series to find out what this prophecy means. And then we end the book on a very, very high note. Percy and Annabeth are finally together. Everyone at camp is relieved at this point that it has finally happened. And I love how Clarice and all the other campers are spying on them. They interrupt them, and then they pick them up and throw them in the lake, where Percy and Annabeth share a nice underwater kiss while everyone is waiting for them to resurface. It's like, it's gonna be a while. Well, those are all my thoughts for The Last Olympian. This book was amazing. It's my favorite book of the series now, and oh my god. But this book was just so good. I cannot wait to read The Heroes of Olympus, but I am gonna have to take a couple days off of reading because this book, I'm just gonna have to mourn it a little longer. Let me know in the comments below your favorite moment of the book and your favorite water power that Percy has displayed so far. I think my favorite water power for Percy is creating that hurricane. Walking on water was pretty cool too. And if I had to choose a favorite moment, I would probably choose the underwater kiss, because it wasn't very long, but it's like finally they're together. And it's just something we've all been waiting for. Well, until next time, guys. Bye!